Hi, friends. Welcome back to another Table Tuesday. This time we are going to be looking at Donkey Kong. And you might be thinking, Matt, why did you choose this one? Well, it's just because it's right next to Space Firebird. And I figured there's two Nintendo tables in this room, might as well finish up the other one. Even though that I have much more interesting Nintendo machines. So, by this point, y'all know Donkey Kong. I don't need to give an introduction. Released towards the end of 1981, it became a smash hit, blah, blah, blah. First appearance of quote unquote Mario, who was called Jumpman. This specific table was actually a deconversion. I picked it up at the same exact time as Space Firebird, and it had been converted to a trivia game. So this required quite a bit of work to get back to stock. But as you can see, I got all the cards. The instruction cards actually came from Mike's Arcade. The insert coin sticker is actually original. I didn't feel the need to replace it since it would look nice. One additional thing I actually have on here is something that's kind of cool, actually. It is an actual business card from Gerald Lamoda, who was at the time involved with market research. He is actually a fairly interesting character. He was all over the game industry after Nintendo. His story goes that he met some executive, I think it was, who saw him playing Donkey Kong, and then he's like, "Hey, we want you to meet Minoru Arakawa." I butchered his name because words are hard. And ultimately, they had him play Donkey Kong Jr., which was, I think, test marketing at the time, or had just come out. And they hired him on as a playtester. I don't know if I got the story exact. I'm just going off of memory. But yeah, I had gotten this card in a lot, and I figured, oh, well, he was involved with Donkey Kong, and he was also involved with the Universal versus Nintendo trial. So I figured, oh, it'd be kind of cool to put it underneath the glass here. I covered up the phone numbers. Obviously, he doesn't work at Nintendo anymore, but they are still real phone numbers. So I don't know who the phone number belongs to, so we're just going to cover it anyways. So, let's take a look at the inside of the machine. I already have it unlocked. You might notice that, or you might hear that this actually has a fan. It is one of two Nintendo tables that I am aware of that had a fan on the inside, radar scope being the other. And you can actually see it, it's down there. It's a 100-volt fan. It plugs into the same brick that the monitor plugs into. But yeah, everything in here is correct hardware for the time. I'm running a TKG3 4-board stack, which would have been correct for this specific machine. And we know that because it says TKG3 on the serial number. We'll see if it'll focus. I guess not. I apologize. There we go. So TKG3-US. And it's a normal Sanyo monitor of the time. It's missing its high voltage plexi. So I have to get that cut. Being that this was another deconversion, it was missing a couple parts, notably the metal brackets that prop up the board. I just 3D printed these because why not? It's just a mounting bracket. It's not going anywhere as strong enough. Yeah. But this is the 4-board stack version of Donkey Kong. It contains the earlier US ROM set with the ladder cheat. Yeah. Has a the PP7B power supply. A lot more reliable than the Space Firebird and Space Fever supplies that came before RadarScope. Other than that, it's not really much you haven't seen before in the other videos. Let's take a peek at the instruction cards since they are a little bit different. Contains the nice wiring diagram for us and monitor adjustments. This also has the dip switch settings. And unlike previous games, RadarScope and Donkey Kong, you can adjust the position of the screen with those two potentiometers right down there. Typically I replace them because they're not very reliable, but these ones were fine and I don't have the correct ones on hand. You might also notice that this machine's on free play. I programmed a free play mod for this. It's available on my GitHub because I like all my games in free play, and I figure why not give that away. Alright, so let's close the table down and I'll show you the control panel. Sorry. Take a peek at the control panel. It's an original one. It's still a little rusty, but no harm, no foul. The actual overlay's in pretty dang good shape. It doesn't have its acrylic overlay. You can see that it rubs on this. I took that off because one, it looked like it didn't look too good, and two, it just rubs away at the artwork here, and nobody really reproduces that right now in the same way. So that's really all there is to show you about the machine itself. So let's set up and play a quick game of Donkey Kong so that you can watch me be bad at that too. So we're going to prop it up like that. We're going to attempt to focus like that. And you can tell it's the earlier ROM set because it says Nintendo 1981. And one thing that I'm noticing now is that the picture's actually turned a little. The yoke got turned at some point. Just a little bit. I don't think I'm actually going to fix that because adjusting that kind of stuff is kind of a hassle. And I'm not very good at it, so I'll just leave it. So let's play a game. It's kind of funny. I really like Donkey Kong. It's quite a fun game. I'm not the best at it, but I should be able to show you some of the levels. Believe it or not, Donkey Kong was, or I wanted Donkey Kong to be my first real arcade machine, but it didn't quite work out that way. My first real one was actually a Millipede, but my first Nintendo machine was actually going to be a Donkey Kong. I worked for a shop on the weekends, and I had convinced them to sell me a Nintendo project. They hooked me up with one for a really good deal. At the time, they had quite a few. So they said, oh, we'll just go pick one out. And they had a red Nintendo machine. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll do that one. Before I continue the story, we're going to try point pressing. Yeah, we're going to cheat. So, but anyway, they told me to pick one out. I picked the red Nintendo cabinet. And at the time, it was missing all of its artwork, and its serial tag had been removed. So I was going to make it a Donkey Kong machine. And I'm in quite the situation here, huh? And ultimately, after doing a little bit more research, I was informed that, oh, hey, Nintendo actually put the model number on a paper tag that goes on the monitor. And there's a chance that you'll be able to see that that it's either a Donkey Kong or a radar scope. It ended up being a radar scope. So after thinking about it, I decided that I couldn't in good conscience convert it to a Donkey Kong because radar scope is historically significant and it didn't sell well, so it was kind of a rare game. Well, later on, I actually found the original serial tag. It was in a box in storage. So that really just confirmed that it was Donkey Kong, so I had made the right decision by that point. But anyway, I had made it radar scope. And that was an absolute blast. It was my first pre-Donkey Kong Nintendo game. It was my first Nintendo game, actually. And it kind of sent me down the rabbit hole of wanting to pursue this Nintendo collection. Because I played it a lot, and I figured, I'm like, oh, this game's actually really fun. And it kind of hurt that nobody really cares about Radar Scope, other than the fact that it sold so poorly that a grand majority of them got converted to Donkey Kong. So then ultimately I ended up having to wait, I think it was a whole year before I finally got another Nintendo machine. And it ended up being a Donkey Kong. It was a Donkey Kong that got converted to Super Bike. And yeah, that was a fun project in itself. But gosh, that stuff was up there. Make it nope. That was 3 or 4 years ago now. I actually do not remember when I picked it up. I can't remember if it was 2021 or 2022. Oh, there we go. The spring level is my least favorite level. But I did it anyways. We're just going to power through this level so I can show the cement factory level, or the pie level as some people call it. But yeah, it's been quite the journey with this Nintendo collection. All because of Radar Scope and Donkey Kong. I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting to own a second Donkey Kong machine at the same time. But I really like these Nintendo tables. I think they look kind of sleek. I like the white top that they have. We're just going to power through this level. We're not going to point press. But yeah. I'm not going to lie, I was expecting to have hit game over already. And speaking of Radar Scope, I'm actually going to be getting a Radar Scope table in the near future. It has been stripped of its parts by a gentleman who really wanted to build a Radar Scope upright. So unfortunately it's missing its board. And he also took the serial tag, which is a little bit disappointing, but that's neither here nor there. So hopefully I'll be able to track an original tag down for a Nintendo table, or ultimately I might make a new one. There's all sorts of ways to have metal tags made nowadays. So I could probably do it, but obviously I'm going to try to get the original because it's part of the history of the machine. To be honest with you, I don't really care that much about the board. Although that board was actually a little bit interesting. It was the 5-board stack of Donkey Kong, or I'm sorry, of Radar Scope. But anyway, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna restore it back to a Radar Scope. Everything's there. It's in decent shape. I've already seen the machine. Couldn't even finish this level. That's okay. But so there's a slight chance it'll be the last of the Table Tuesdays, because I actually do not know when I'm going to be picking it up yet. I also have 2 additional Nintendo tables that are currently pending that I am unsure of when I'm going to be able to get. Unfortunately, I have to ship them from across the country, so that's going to be a little bit of a headache. So I also have some other stuff in the pipeline. And after Table Tuesdays, I'm kind of thinking about doing an additional thing. But for now, I have like 6 or 7 more Nintendo tables to show you guys. So anyway, I'm going to call it good. Hope you found this Donkey Kong table interesting. Hopefully my rambling wasn't too annoying. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks.